Oh, my name is Dan Allen. This video is being submitted as my second assignment in the Mindfulness and Technology Infused Education course through Ontario Tech University with Dr. Gabriel Ayyavoo. This is the Daily Meditation Practice Journal Analysis. The goals of the assignment were to complete a daily mindful practice for at least 20 days, preferably 30, to keep a daily journal outlining the practice and any other corresponding data, to analyze our data and notice trends or outliers, and then finally to make connections with the research we've been learning in class about the impact of mindful practices. My methodology, I used mindful relaxation exercises available through the Starling Minds website. I'll go through that later on in this presentation. That resource is available to me through my employer, and I find it very beneficial in my learning in this course. I collected data for a total of 28 consecutive days from September 19th until October 16th, 2024, through a cycling 7-day cycle. So I repeated the 7-day cycle 4 times. Most of those sessions occurred in a bedroom in my home in the evening with minimal distractions. I also tended to use earbuds to limit the outside noise I was able to hear when I was doing the mindful practice. For every session that I did, I collected data and made notes as I went along for the full 4-week period. I recorded the title of the mindful practice as it was written on the Starling Minds website, the duration, even though there was some discrepancy between the duration on the Starling Minds website and then how long the actual practice took. I gave myself a relaxation rating on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not relaxed at all, totally stressed out, and 10 being totally relaxed. And that's reflected in the Starling Minds website as well. I'll demo that a little bit later on. So I recorded a relaxation rating before and after each one of the mindful practices. I recorded my heart rate in beats per minute before and after each mindful practice. And I also made notes around a brief description of the exercise and my feelings after completing the exercise as I went through each day. So this, again, as I mentioned earlier, the Starling Minds website is a resource that is available to me through my employer. It is a paid subscription. I'm actually planning on using this website for my tech review for assignment number 3. So this has been a nice connection with that work. And what I'm going to do right now is step out of this presentation and go to the Starling Minds website to show you where the content came from. Oops. Okay, so this is the Starling Minds website. Again, this is available to me through my employer. You can see some menus over here on the far left. I'm not going to do a full demo of this software at this time, but I'll show you where I found the exercises that I used for this reflective journal. I went to the exercises tab on the left. And then when I was considering this from the outset, I was thinking, what do I need in my life right now? And then what came to me was the relaxation strategies, relaxing strategies. And so I focused on this area for this assignment. And when you click into here, you're going to see that there are 7 different activities. And so I chose to do those 7 activities once per week for a 4-week time period, and that consisted of the activity. When you go into each of these, if I pick one, they asked me for an initial rating. This was the scale that I used to record my ratings as well. So I went from 0, not relaxed at all, to 10, very relaxed. There's a brief description around what the activity is. In this case, it's progressive muscle relaxation, an audio or a video file, depending on the format of the activity, and then a post, how do you feel now? And so that was the format I used. There is another page after this, which asks you, would you try this strategy again? And then there are some notes you can make as well for yourself as you go through. So I found this very useful. It was very helpful in terms of getting my head around the assignment and what I might want to track. Once I completed I fed all of the data that I received into a Google sheet that I could then do some analysis on. This was way too small to read, so I will again jump out of this presentation very quickly and show you what that data tracking looked like. There we go. So in the Google document, again, I recorded the date. I just color coded these by week. So this is each of the 4 weeks in the repeating cycle. I did them all in the same order. So you can see 3-part breath was the first day of every week and so on. The duration recorded, relaxation rating pre and post. And then I recorded the change in relaxation rating through that, the heart rate before and after, change in heart rate, and then anecdotal recording as well around how I felt, for each one, or whether it was something that I could consider using in my day-to-day life going forward. I will share a link to this Google Doc as well, so you can have access to it. When I was completing, I was just doing some averages. I'm a numbers person. Numbers make sense to me, and so I was thinking, okay, I've an average of 1.43 in terms of my relaxation rating. But I was thinking, I wonder what that might look like. Which of these different strategies is the most impactful? So across the bottom, each tab individually looks at each activities. This is 3-part breathing, the guided imagery, the progressive muscle relaxation, and so on. So each of these is analyzed separately, and I've got some data that I'll share later in this presentation to consolidate some of that work. So some general trend that I noticed, again, this is for all data combined. I noticed that my personal relaxation rating pre and post improved by about 1.43 or 1.5 points out of 10 on that relaxation scale. So I certainly saw the benefit in my mental health from completing these different tasks that I wouldn't otherwise have seen. The same thing with my resting heart rate. But there was a curious one. There was a strategic breathing that the point of it wasn't to calm you down. It was actually to increase your breathing. And so with that one, I actually saw an increase in heart rate, which was a bit of a surprise to me. And I'll make a connection to some of the research later on, but Kabat-Zinn's research around what is and is not mindfulness was impactful in some of my reading as I've gone through this course around what I thought mindfulness and relaxation was, and what it truly is. So I saw an average decrease in heart rate of about 2.64 beats per minute. Some other general trends. Again, I looked at each individual activity thinking which ones were most impactful. So the most impactful in terms of the relaxation rating were the guided imagery, meditation music, and one nostril breathing. The guided imagery, I tended to go back to an ocean scene in my head. It was talking, the activity was asking you to think of a place that you find relaxing and asking you to really focus in on some specific details around what you hear, what you see, what you smell. And I grew up on the ocean in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I think that maybe is part of why that guided imagery was so impactful for me. I was surprised by the one nostril breathing. That was an activity where you plug your left nostril and breathe in through the right, and then plug the right and breathe out through the left. And I think it was relaxing because I really had to focus on my breathing and my activities. And then what I found towards the end of that particular activity was I really enjoyed the feeling of air coming into both of my nostrils after blocking one and using just one at a time. The least effective practices for improving relaxation were the strategic breathing. That was the one where you're actually increasing your heart rate. And others such as 3-part breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and diaphragmatic breathing had less impact on that rating for me. In terms of heart rate, the most effective for reducing heart rate, though, diaphragmatic breathing was one that it decreased it the most. Meditation music, another that I didn't particularly enjoy, to be honest. I found it distracting at times and hard to stay focused. but my heart seemed to enjoy it because the pulse rate decreased by 4.75 beats per minute through that activity. 3-part breathing reduced by 3.5. There should be a minus there, sorry. And progressive muscle relaxation at 2.75 beats per minute. The least effective were the one nostril breathing, the guided imagery, and the strategic breathing. So it's curious that I found the one nostril breathing and guided imagery more relaxing. However, they didn't tend to have that impact on my heart rate as I measured it pre and post. Other observations, I really noticed my ability to focus on my breathing and body improved over time. In my first week, I found it not difficult, but I was slower to get to a point where I felt like I was connected with my breathing or connected with the different parts of my body I was focusing on. In the third and fourth week, I was felt way easier to do that than in the first 2 weeks. I found that I felt I wanted the sessions to last longer. The sessions through the Starting Mind and Zaps that I did were 3 to 5 minutes. I chose that purposely because it's new to me. But after the fourth week, I was wishing some of these things would last, 7 to 10 minutes and beyond. I found I wanted the practices to slow down to give me more time to focus on my breathing or body. So when I was listening to the audio prompts for breathing, I wasn't ready to exhale yet. I wanted to hold that breath in longer and control it more. But I was following the pace that the instructor was creating. And so with that, I found I wanted more time. And again, during the third and fourth weeks, I was having deeper experiences. Deep is the word I can use to describe that than in the first 2 weeks. If I was asked to visualize something, I was able to do that with a greater degree of detail. If I was asked to focus on my breathing, I felt like I was getting more air in my lungs and holding the air in for longer durations of time. One of them was progressive muscle relaxation, where you flex tightly and then relax. And I found that my flexing was tighter, and the relaxation was greater in the third and fourth weeks. Um, Again, connecting this all to research that we've done in class, we've read a lot and learned a lot in the past month and a half through this course. But a few pieces jumped out to me that I wanted to point out specifically. The Kaufman article, they talk about mindfulness-based approaches allow individuals to better tolerate or react differently to experiences such as anxiety. And what I have found is that I am doing some of these activities in my day-to-day work in my office, either before writing an email or before an important meeting. I find that they center me and they put me in a better position to be more effective in that world. The second article or second piece I wanted to mention as well was, again, addressing how mindfulness changes how we process external and internal stimuli. Um, I have been more grateful in terms of my own practices and my own body and my own life. And I think that, again, connecting these mindful practices has made that work more impactful for me. This graphic, again, we've discussed it in class, we read it in the articles, and again, I find that what's happening for me is my window of tolerance. I don't know if it's increasing or if my ability to stay within that window of tolerance is increasing, but I do find that my balance tends to be better now than it was before I began these mindful practices. So I'm finding that my highs are not as I don't get overexcited for them. I should say my highs aren't as high, but I don't get overexcited when the highs come. And the same thing with the lows. I don't dwell on them because I know that I have tactics and skills to put myself in a position where I'm back into that window of tolerance. And finally, again, I mentioned this earlier, but the work of Kabat-Zinn and what his ideas are around mindfulness have been very impactful to me. When I first started recording and I was recording heart rate, I was thinking, okay, I want to relax. I want my heart rate to decrease. So now I know that it's not just about relaxation, that mindfulness is a habit of mind and mindfulness is a way of being. And it's not just about decreasing heart rate or increasing relaxation. It's about being more in touch with yourself and being more aware, and I think that that is truly a benefit that I've experienced so far in this course. Here are the references that I used for this. I will provide a link to this recording as well as a link to the Google Doc with my recorded results as well. And I thank you for your time and have a great day.